former medical assistant, Nicole, recently asked if I could make some cute surgical caps for her. She's now a nurse working at Henry Ford Hospital in the ICU with COVID-19 patients, and was complaining that she's the only one who doesn't have any cute surgical caps. So this is a video on how to make cute surgical caps. If you are tired of making cute masks and still have a lot of cute fabric at home, it'll give you something to do during the current shutdown. You're going to need pattern, measuring tape, 1/2-inch elastic, pinking shears or regular scissors, something to turn the ties on the back of the hat, like a safety pin or a long pencil with an eraser or a crochet hook. You're going to need something to mark your pattern, and a seam ripper is always helpful. Most importantly, you're going to need a selection of cute fabrics. You can get 2 hats out of 15 inches, about that long, of 45-inch fabric, and I'm using here just regular quilting cotton. To make the pattern, I just cut these out of tracing paper. You can see the measurements. The band at its thickest is 7 inches wide. The ties are 3 1/4 inch wide. And the crown at its widest is 7 1/4 inch. And the length is about 11 inches overall, with a 1-inch margin at the bottom to fold over. The band has a 1.5-inch margin at the bottom to fold over. This is a piece of fabric that I had left over from a previous project. It's 45-inch wide quilting cotton, and I've washed it, I've ironed it, folded it in half, pressed it flat, and I have a 15 or 16-inch long piece of fabric here. Lay out the pattern pieces. You're going to take the band of the hat and you're going to lay it against one edge with the wide end on the fold of the fabric. The next piece you're going to lay out is the crown of the hat, and that fits right here. And you can put the flat edge of the crown on the selvage edge of the fabric. That way you don't have to finish it. When you're done cutting out these 2 pieces, you can flip over the band and you can cut out a second band out of the same piece of fabric. This will give you 2 hats with the same material. So here I go, I'm going to cut it out. You have 2 crown pieces with the flat edge on the selvage and 2 band pieces with the end of what will become the ties cut on the selvage. Next, we're going to go back to the ironing board. So here we have the 2 crown pieces, and I find it helpful to press up 1 inch on the bottom. This is going to be the casing for your elastic. Put the wrong side up, that's the not pretty side. Fold up 1 inch on the bottom and press it. The other thing I find helpful is marking the center by folding the piece in half and just pressing a little bit at the top so that there's a little crease on the center of the crown piece. So to assemble the cap, you're going to put a piece of elastic underneath the fold here. I'm using 1/2-inch elastic, and you're going to sew a casing to hold the elastic in place. Just be sure you don't catch the elastic with your seam line. So you want to be able to pull the elastic freely through the casing. Now you're going to line the elastic up to one end of your crown piece, and I'm just going to zigzag stitch that in place. And you sew right through the elastic to anchor it in place. Now you're going to pull on the other end of the elastic to gather it. And you want to gather it so when it's pulled, the fabric is just about flat. Perfect. And anchor that end with the fabric gathered with a few more zigzag stitches. And then you're going to cut off the extra elastic. Now you're going to sew the crown to the brim by lining up the center of the brim where there's a little crease from the fold with the center of the crown where you ironed in a little crease at the very top. Line those up. Put those on your machine. Make sure it's not in zigzag anymore. And starting in the center, you're going to ease the curved pieces together. I'm using about a 3/8 inch seam allowance. You can use a larger seam allowance and that'll make the cap slightly smaller. And when you get down to the bottom, sew right over the elastic, right up into the edge, but no further. And go ahead and sew the other half of the cap together. Now we're going to sew the ties. So fold the fabric right side together. And sew right up to the edge of the elastic, but not over the elastic. And do the same thing on the other side. Now you're going to turn the ties, and to do this you'll need some sort of tool. If you're having trouble, you can take a crochet hook, and you can sometimes grab the end of the fabric and pull it through. And the construction of your cap's done. Now we're going to press it. So to press the ties, just fold them on the seam line, press flat. We're going to tuck the end of the elastic here where the elastic ends. You're going to cover that up, press it flat, and we're going to put a line of reinforcing stitching here to keep the elastic from pulling. And I'm just going to put a line of stitching on the edge of the tie over the elastic. to help hold the elastic in place and take any strain off of it. Let's see what our hat looks like. Thanks for watching.